Good afternoon, it's Jenny from Gemini Crafts, based in the centre of the UK. Apologies for my late start today. Technology issues, just for a change. Sometimes my phone decides it just does not want to go into landscape mode when it hops onto Facebook, and the only way I can get over that is to restart my phone, and then it seems to obey. But never mind, we are here now, so I'll give everybody a minute or two to find us. I know it's quite frustrating. You can be on a Facebook page waiting for anything to go live, and it doesn't always flick up straight away. Sometimes you have to sort of go back in and look for it, so which is really frustrating, I know. So I will give people a few minutes to hop on board. I see there's somebody joined us. I'm not sure who that is, but I look forward to chatting with you later. So the set that we are going to use today is this one. It's, as you can see, is called Timeless Tulips, and it features obviously tulip images, stalks and leaves. So we have three different sizes of tulip. We have the large tulip flower, a slightly smaller one, and then a bud of a tulip. We have some different leaves here, three different types, and two different stalks. This one is slightly wider and is curved. This one is slightly narrower and is straight. But having said that, because the stamps... Oh, hi Marion, nice to see you. Because the stamps are photopolymer, you could bend them. So if you wanted it curving round to the left, for example, or to the right, then you could do that anyway. So I'm just going to keep this one fairly straight. It does have a different thing at top and bottom. If you look at here, the bottom of the stamp is slightly open, and the top of the stamp is slightly deeper and has got the little where it would connect to a flower. Having said that, I don't think it's critical that you keep it in that direction. If you do turn it around the other way, it's not the end of the world. This one perhaps is a little bit more noticeable. You can see this end here is quite open, and this end here is quite closed up. So we've got three different tulip heads and three different leaves, two different stalks. And then some nice sentiments. If I just leave that there, you can see the sentiments. May the memories of yesterday comfort you today. So it's a nice one for a sympathy card. And also to go with that, what a beautiful difference one single life makes. Happy Easter, happy spring, happy everything. Hello, a happy birthday, a get well soon. Oh, hi Kate, thank you for joining us too. And also a happy Mother's Day, which is obviously useful for us in the UK. Mother's Day is at the end of March. So this would make a nice Mother's Day card, obviously. In fact, last week quite a lot of people did make Mother's Day cards, but I know not everybody needs to do that. So it would make a lovely thank you card, obviously a great get well card. Tulips, we just need a bit of nice bright colours around us at the minute. It's been quite dull over the UK, although we do have sunshine here at the moment. I hadn't better speak too soon, had I? So this is Timeless Tulips. It has a matching tulip punch. If you can see that, perhaps if I turn over, might be better for you to see. And this punches out the large tulip and one of the leaves, this one here. So it makes a very versatile set together. The stamp set on its own is £17, UK pounds. The punch is 17, but if you buy them together, instead of £34, which is what it would be, it's £30 and 50 pence. So that makes it, a really, I think, affordable set, and you'll get so much fun out of this set, I'm sure. Hi to Baz. Baz joined us at Coffee and Card this morning and did a great job with her cards. Let me show some of the finished cards and then we'll crack on and do the demonstration. So These larger cards are ones I actually made in class last week, both in Brackley and in Milton Keynes. So I'll just talk you through those, then I'll show you our coffee and card designs, which are basically the same but just a slightly simplified version. That's what coffee and card is all about. An opportunity to do quick, simple cards. Hi Baz. Excuse me, I've got a little tickle. So, oh hi Tracy, everybody's joining me today. Thank you. Lovely to see you. So this one here, I've used some Daffodil Delight for the yellow tulips, and you can see here I've done a two-tone tulip, which I'll show you how to do, and that's been punched out and added on the top. And I've just used that Happy Birthday from the Celebration birthday cake set. It's one of my favourite Happy Birthday designs. I'm hoping that comes back in some form in that style, because I really like that slightly relaxed script. This is a similar one, just a line of yellow tulips with one punched out in the centre. That's waiting for me to put a sentiment on. Here's a Mother's Day version. So I've used Petal Pink for these two light tulips, and then Melon Mambo for the darker tulip, and again that's been punched out, put on top, and this one's got that pretty Petal Pink ribbon. Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Baz. I'm on television. That one's a Mother's Day one. So those are ones, some of the ones that we did at class. And let me show you some of the coffee and card designs. So lots of different colours. Tulips do come in lots of different colours. This one is in, it's a mix actually of blueberry bush, no, seaside spray. So, and, oh, can't think of the colour. It's the one I've got here. Balmy blue. I've got it on the side there. And I've done that one as a Get Well Soon banner at the bottom. This one here is done in Daffodil Delight, but I've added a Mango Melody ribbon, that seam binding ribbon, which is really soft. It's lovely, and it goes nice and flat on your card, and made that into a thank you card. And on the inside I've added that little tulip head and some leaves and the stalk. Just makes a nice finishing touch. So that's a thank you. Here's another thank you. So anybody ordering with me recently will probably receive one of these thank you cards. She did. She was really chuffed with it, Baz. Really chuffed. Baz was kind enough to make a card this morning for our barista at the coffee shop where we meet up. She was having a really bad day this morning, and so Baz very kindly made a card for her, and it really chipped her up. So this one is using Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape, and again stamped on the inside and also on the envelope. Now this is one of those stamp sets that does what it says on the tin, for want of a better description, because it's so easy to stamp. You can see through it because it's photopolymer, and it just gets a really nice design whatever you do with it, as you can see. And that's why I've got so many cards, because it's so easy to do. So this one is an Easter spring card, and this is Melon Mambo, and I've just added a little bow in the centre. This was one that I did this morning, so stamping lighter daffodils, lighter tulips in the background and darker ones in orange on the front, and then a little thank you, and I've added a little bit of bling to that one. A sweet little Get Well Soon, that's using Poppy Parade, although it does look rather pale on there. I was noticing a lot of my inks are going very pale, so I think I've got an evening with my refills sometime soon, sitting down refilling all of my ink pads. And then this one here with that lovely purple trio ribbon. I made you a card because you're worth it. It's very sweet, isn't it? And then it's got the little tulip inside. So a really nice set. I used it at class last week, and I think most people bought the set because it was just such a nice set and so useful, so versatile, and you know, good for all round in the year. So this is the set here. I have mounted a few of the stamps up ready. Which sentiment's that? The I made you a card because you're worth it. Yeah, I think it's quite sweet, isn't it? Okay, I've just put a mat on here because I'm working directly on my photographic surface here, and it has got a link between my tiles, so I'm just being too lazy to put a piece of grid paper down, to be honest. So I'm working on these pieces of card. So these are 9.9 centimeters by 9.9, and that's to fit a card which is just short of 4 inches by 4 inches, which is a bit of a silly expression, isn't it? But hey ho. So I'm going to start with Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. Now I know the labels here don't do them justice because they look very similar. So this is Highland Heather. So I always put my light one on the left hand side and my darker one to the right. That's because I'm right-handed. Maybe. And then I've got Granny Apple Green for my stalks and Early Espresso, which I appreciate is just off the edge here, for my sentiment. So I'm just going to take the large of the tulip stamps. I'm going to ink up in the Highland Heather and just pop that fairly near the top. There's one. And I'm just going to make this into a little bunch, I think, a bunch of 3. Got ink on my fingers here, looks like I'm a heavy smoker, but I'm not, I promise. Okay, so those are my 3 tulips. If I wanted to, I could stamp another tulip on a piece of card and cut it out, which I'm going to do. I've got one here ready, and I'm just going to do that with the darker one and pop this on there. That'll be at the ready. Just going to use my stalk then and my Granny Apple Green. You could use any green. So this morning we used Old Olive, Pear Pizzazz, Granny Apple Green, Mossy Meadow. It's really up to you. So I'm just going to ink up the stalk and stamp this one. Let's get the right, yeah, that's the right end, fairly straight. And don't worry too much about getting it spot on, the tulip. What I would say is err on the side of caution and bring your stamp slightly higher rather than bring it lower, otherwise you'll have a gap between the top of the stalk and the flower head. So I'm just going to cross these at an angle. 1, 2, 3, like so. There we go. Now I'm going to add some leaves. I've just mounted up 1 leaf, to be honest. You could use any combination of leaves, but I find 1 leaf will do the job. So I'm just inking that up, and then what I find is if you stamp 1 leaf and then instead of stamping it again, because it's got that, it's going to the right, as I turn it round 180 degrees and then pop another one on, and that's going slightly to the left. You can build these up really easily. You don't have to be very precise where the leaves go, and if you've caught the edge of a stamp or something, it's very easy to cover up. So I am going to add a few more bits of green just to sort of balance it out a little bit. So there we go. Really simple and easy, really effective. Right, let me put this ink pad away for the minute. Well, I'll need that again in a second. And I'm going to stamp a sentiment over here, and I'm also going to show you how to pop this up on some dimensionals. So this is the punch that does the stamp and the tulip and the leaf. So I'm just going to turn that over. This is Kim's. Kim very kindly lent me an extra set of stamps, so I've labelled them up for her. So all I've done is turned the punch over, positioned my card in wherever I want that. Okay, and then I'm going to punch that out like so. Obviously it punches the leaf out as well if you've got a card in that position. So if you'd stamped a line of tulips, what I would do is always then bring in the line of tulips from the left hand side, so that you're just doing one. No, actually I'll bring it from the right hand side, sorry, so that you would just bring in one tulip, cut it off, and then do the next one coming in from the right hand side. Otherwise this bit here will cut into your next tulip unless you've given them plenty of space. So the secret is you could space them quite widely and then you wouldn't have an issue at all. So I have our dimensionals here, and what I'm going to do is pop that one up slightly dark. It's not a wild amount of difference. You wouldn't have to stamp the one in the middle if you don't want to, if you're going to cover it up, but I think if somebody sort of looks underneath, it's nice that it's under, and also for positioning. But if you had to do a lot of these, then I would do it without the one in the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that over there. Also, if you'd misstamped that for any reason, that's a good way to cover it up. Having said that, it's a really good quality stamp, so hopefully that wouldn't happen. I'm just going to use my thank you and my early espresso ink pad, because I need to top up my thank you cards, and I've done Mother's Day cards. Just going to stamp this off to check it. So I'm hoping you can see that okay. And I do quite like stamping over the leaves and everything, because it looks quite sort of natural. So there we go. Obviously you could add Winker Stella if you wanted some. I'll leave that there for a minute. Okay, so they're just so pretty, aren't they, Kate, without a lot of effort. So that is going to go onto there. Before I do that, I'm also going to add the inner. So I'm just going to stamp the little flower, and I'm also going to put that on the envelope. So sorry for reaching across. Just get those at the ready. So I'm just going to take the little tulip head. I was going to do just the light one on the inner, and I'm just going to pop this on the right hand side. But you could also do a line of tulips on there. While I've got that ready, I'm going to ink this one up. Check I've got the envelope the right way around, and put this one on the left hand side like so, and then just use my stalk and the leaves. In fact, you could probably get away even just with the leaves on their own, but while I've got everything to hand, let's move that punch out of the way for the minute. So I'm just going to pop, let's get the right side, the end of the stalk just onto there, like so. Hope you can see that all right. And the same on the inner, like so. And then same with the leaves. So I'm using, as I said, Granny Apple Green. There we go, like so. You can see that. And I'm going to do the same on the envelope, like so. And even though I'm only using the very tip of the stamp, I always ink up, and this is a huge stamp, I always ink up the whole stamp, because the temptation is just to ink up the top and then you find you're missing a little bit and you end up with a gap. So if in doubt, just do the whole thing. It's really no more effort, and it could save you an envelope. So there's our finished envelope. There's our inner. Let's just put these together. I'm going to put these ink pads out of the way for the minute. Now I've repositioned my camera, so I don't know if it's an improvement or not. You'll have to let me know. I was doing a Facebook live with my business team yesterday, and I was facing the camera, so I don't often like being videoed, you know, face on, which is why you'll nearly always see me like here. So I had to move the whole apparatus around. Right, let's pop that inside in there. Obviously you could put another sentiment on if you wished. I'm just going to leave that blank because I don't know at the moment who that's going to go to. So a little bit of snail around the edges. Just position that in there. So that's my inside, like that. And then this one is going to go on the front. And I'm not putting my card back down on there because I know there's a little bit of ink on there and I don't want to transfer to the front of my card. I could just have taken that away. So just positioning that over, hovering over until I've got it where I want it, and then pressing it down. There we go. So there's our finished card, our inner, and a matching envelope. Okay, I just want to show you something else to spice up the tulips a little bit. I'm just going to turn that over so I've got a clean side. So I'm just going to take another piece of this card. So this is, I said before it was 9.5 centimetres, but actually it's 9.2 is how I cut it down. So this time I'm going to just do a nice line of tulips, but I'm going to use these two. Now these were used this morning by Jill and Babsy. I can't remember if you used them, Baz, or not. Don't think so. Balmy Blue and Pacific Point. So I'm going to do a two-tone tulip. So again, just out of habit, I keep the lighter one on the left. Obviously this is a little bit more obvious by the labels anyway, but if you haven't put your labels on, that's a good way to do it. You can write in there the name as well if you don't take the label off the bottom. So for this one I'm going to stamp some light ones and then put some darker ones in between. I'm just going to use this middle-sized one because I haven't used that one yet, and I'm going to do that one there, sort of one on each side, like so. And then I'm going to put some two-tone ones on there. So in order to do that, all we do is ink up the lighter colour, and then we take a sponge dauber. So this is a sponge dauber, if you can see that. So it's got a hole in there, it fits on your finger, and it's got a very, very fine sponge at the top. So what I'm going to do is ink the dauber with the sponge. I'm just going to bring my bit of scrap paper here, just so I can see it's the right colour. Ink it up, and then take my, oh, that's the wrong one. Take my inked up tulip, and then just add a little bit of the darker colour. Now there is some natural shading in there anyway, but I've just added a little bit on the bottom and a little bit on the top. Let me just stamp it off so you can see first. Make sure I'm happy with it. Let's put it down here at the bottom. There we go. It's quite subtle, but no, if you can see, so it's slightly darker at the bottom and it's a bit more noticeable at the tip. So I'm happy with that, so I'm going to re-ink that. So your best to clean it in between so you don't transfer the dark ink onto the light pad, because obviously there'll be a little bit left over. And just add a little bit more this time. So dabbing it in across the top, do a little bit down the side, and then what I'm going to do is put that sort of in between, and hopefully that'll give me a nice deeper effect. If you can see, it's lighter in the middle. Same thing, just going to wipe that off. Sorry, that's off the screen, but there we go. A little bit. And obviously you can do these in lots of different colours. You often see red at the top of a yellow base tulip. There's all sorts of things. Let's do that one there. There we go. So I've got a line of tulips, and you could obviously just keep going. You could mask these off and add some more in. You could do lighter ones behind and have, you know, a complete set of a complete bunch of tulips. I'm just going to add the stalks in and the leaves. So 1, 2, and this is a great example of when to ink up the whole of the stalk, because you don't know how long each one is going to be. And you could also obviously have the stalk that's bending over one way or the other. Now I'm going to add in some leaves, and I think because I've got a little bit more space, I might actually put a larger leaf in. So let me swap that thin one for one of the bigger leaves. I'll leave that out to remind me to clean it. Okay, so I'm going to just do the same thing. Do one like that, and then turn it around so it bends off to the right. I don't know if that's what tulip leaves really look like. I'm sure somebody will. So just building it up. Go. Doesn't matter if these leaves are you know, going over one another, because in real life that's exactly what they would do, fighting for space. I noticed today that my snowdrops are beginning to go, which is a bit of a shame, but there we go. Right, so now I've got a really pretty line of tulips. These ones are slightly two-toned. Obviously I've used blue and blue. Some of the ladies last week used Poppy Parade for the main poppy and then real red for the outside, and that was really stunning. It really gave them, you know, the depth of the tulip, bearing in mind that these tulips are sort of self coloured anyway, just by the way the Stampin' beads designed. So I'm going to add another thank you, I think, across the middle. This will make a lovely birthday card with that big happy birthday sentiment. If I can find it. This one here. In fact, I might convert it to a happy birthday card. My niece's birthday is coming up in a few days' time. So this one might go to my niece, sent from my mum, because I send her cards for her. So let's do that. I'm just looking through to get that roughly centered and roughly straight. There we go. So that's got a nice happy birthday on it, and I'm going to add a few extra bits of bling across the top as it's a birthday card. So that is going to go on to a matching balmy blue base card, and I will of course do an inner. Actually, as I've got that, that was my sample one, but that will work perfectly. Let me put the stalk on. Oh, hi Rebecca, nice to see you again. Thank you for joining us again this week. I will have a run through of the cards when we've finished. This is the one that I'm working on at the moment. So let's pop the stalk on there. So that was handy. I didn't intend to use that. That was just a sample really, but it will do the job. So there's the stalk. Hi Gillian, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And I'm just going to turn that around. Could have it just with one really. There we go. So that will be my inside of the card. And then I'll do the same treatment to the envelope. So I'm going to use the same little flower again. So I will need to restamp it, won't I? I'm just going to do it in the light colour for the envelope because I don't want it to run too much if it should get wet. Check I've got the envelope in the right direction. Just going to pop that flower there on the left hand side. Add my stalk like so, and add my leaves. So I'm just turning this leaf round because that goes in one direction. Turn it 180 degrees and that same leaf will then go the other direction. So that's that one there. So let me put those together. Let's move my matter out of the way so I don't get any ink where it shouldn't be. So let's pop this one on the inside. Find my snail, there it is. So I'm just going to put snail down the side. Oops, I went a bit haywire. Only needs a relatively small amount. You don't need to go mad on the snail because it's a flat card. It's not taking any extra pressure. So just hold that over until I've got it in its place and then push it down. So that's my inside. This is going to be my front. Adding it just a little bit more because the front is going to take a little bit more wear and tear than the inside, and then I'm going to put a little bit of bling on there. And what I might do, if I can find it and if it's to hand, is ink up with my blends pen, my alcohol pen, to make the bling a nice matching blue. So let me tuck those away. Let me see if I've got some bling to hand, which I did have. Of course, when you want it, you can't see it, can you? There it is. Right, so I have some bling and I have some blue pens. This is actually dark night of navy, but I think that might work quite well. So the rule of thumb is you want odd numbers. What I'm actually going to use are these metallic silver ones, and then I'm going to colour some of those in. So there's a loose one there. Let's just try this and see what colour it comes out like, because I think it would work quite nicely. So I'm just using our blends pen. This is an alcohol pen. This won't work with white markers because it will just wipe off, and it won't work with the inks. So oops, I don't know if you can see that. It is quite dark, but I'm gonna go with it. Let's find a pokey tool if I can. and I'm just going to dot those across the top. Okay, just be careful because it takes a minute for that ink to dry. So I'm just going to put one there. Yeah, we've got to love a little bling, you're quite right, Kate. One there and one there, like so. So it's in the matching, a similar blue, slightly darker, but it's bling. So there we go, that is the final card for today. Let me show you the ones that I went through earlier for those of you that have joined us in between. And just to show you, this is the stamp set that we've been using, Timeless Tulips. It's available from me in the UK, also from Stampin' Up worldwide, so depending on where you are, you can get that from a Stampin' Up demonstrator. And it has a matching punch that punches out the large tulip and the leaf. Let me show you the one that we did earlier. So here's one we did earlier. This is in Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. And you can see where I punched out the tulip and popped that on the top. This is in the same colourway but with an addition of ribbon. This one is in Poppy Parade. We've got a field of tulips here, and these are Daffodil Delight and Mango Melody. Some pretty pink tulips. This is done as an Easter card. Happy Easter, happy spring. A little thank you card. And its matching envelope. Some pretty yellow tulips with a ribbon. And Get Well card in blues. So that is the main thing for the coffee and card today, but I would like to share a few things with you that are coming up tomorrow and indeed available later in the week. And we have some coordinating products. So if you've already bought some items and earned celebration products for free since the beginning of January, one of the things you might have earned is the birthday cake stamp set, and that's the one that features this really nice happy birthday sentiment. And now what we've released are the dies that go with it to cut out the cake, cuts out the flowers. It has some extra little dies for the little buds. And you also have a cake stand and 2 pairs of embossed leaves. That's one die, but it cuts out together. Oh, hi Sarah. Thank you for joining us. So this is a really nice set. So you can buy these dies now to match those sets. So this matches the birthday cake set. What I do like about it is the cake stamp has the cake with the flowers attached. And this will cut out the flowers so you can actually use those separately. Here's another one, and this die set is called Sending Flowers, and it's £25. This is the code number for the UK, and it features this really beautiful die cut. If I just turn it over, you can see the actual die itself has that pretty edging, and it cuts out all these flowers. This is one of our Stampin' Up dies, and they really do cut efficiently. When you put them through the machine, the pieces literally fall out, maybe not the tiny little bits in the middle. This also has got flowers and 2 separate banners. This banner is lovely because it's got little pierced holes. So this one here and the flowers is how I've created that. So this is great for square cards, because you can just literally cut that out in the centre and put a piece of darker card behind. I've seen people make these into shaker cards and just put the loose flowers behind as well. Oh, hi Charlotte, thanks for joining us. So this is called Sending Flowers, and it's £25, and that's available now until the end of March. And then we have this one, which matches the stamp set we used for coffee and card right in the beginning. Positive Thoughts it's called, and it has the Maidenhair Fern it has the butterfly and has a feather. There's also a detailed feather here and a flower head and some more little flower heads and the pattern and a frame, and that frame has got little dots. So that particular set is designed, it's called Nature's Thoughts, and it matches the Positive Thoughts stamp set. So if you've bought that, that's in the main autumn, sorry, it's in the spring summer, not autumn, it's in the spring summer catalogue. Really pretty stamp set. So that's designed to go with that. This one I think you could use absolutely on its own. It is designed to match the stamp set that has lots of sentiments in the Celebration catalogue, but I don't think that's necessary to make this one work. And as I say, there's the cake one. The other item you can get with the coordinating products actually matches the set we just used. This is a set of papers. It's £10.75. This matches, as you can see, the umbrella punch. Now our umbrella punch punches this shape and also the closed shape. So what you could do, let me find that's just here to hand. So this is our umbrella punch, and the punch does the stick, this shape and that shape, of which you can use from here. It's called Under My Umbrella, the stamp set, but the punch would work just on its own. So you get 3 sheets of that. You also get 3 sheets of this lovely tulip paper, and surprise surprise, that matches the tulip punch. So if you didn't have the stamp set and you just had the punch, you could punch out lots of different tulips. I've lost my tulip punch now. It was here, wasn't it? So what you would have to do is be very careful when you are punching this out, not just to start punching, because if you remember, the punch has the leaf to the left of it. So what I would do is I would just spend a little while just roughly cutting round each of these and then going back in and then punching them separately. So a bit of a job, but this has got a really pretty green on the background. What I didn't show you is the back to the umbrellas, which are these lovely raindrops. So sweet. So you get 3 of those. Then we've got the hearts, and these match our new heart punches. So these are really pretty. And this is really sweet as well. You could do a nice strip of that, cutting that down. But this will match the heart punch duo that we have. And then finally, and on the back of that is a gingham, as I remember it, in petal pink. And then we have this. So this matches the mini blossom punch. That is one of the celebration items that you can get for spending £90. And that will punch out the larger of those flowers, and you get 3 sheets of those as well. And on the reverse of that is fantastic, not quite a rainbow colour, but really nice bright colours that obviously match that. So you can get the papers for £10.75, and you get 12 papers, 4 designs. They're all double-sided, and you get 3 sheets of each. Sorry, I'm moving those. Hope that's not making you feel seasick. So these are the papers as well. So these are all in our coordination product release, and they're available only from now to the end of March. Okay, or if they run out of stock beforehand. There's always that chance. Okay, so I just wanted to share those with you. And watch out for tomorrow, because from tomorrow we have some new celebration items that will be available. So I'm not going to show you them because I'm not quite sure what the rules are on showing the product until it's available tomorrow, and I don't want to get into trouble. So what I will do is a Facebook Live tomorrow to show you the new celebration products. There is a new catalogue for celebration, so if you haven't received one, let me know and I can pop one in the post. And I look forward to sharing with you again tomorrow. I think I'll probably do it at 2 o'clock again. So tune in with me tomorrow at 2 and I can show you the new celebration products and also have a run through of the other ones that are still available. I've waffled on enough. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're interested in any of these products, just make a comment below or private message me your email address and I can send you a catalogue and the details. Let me just finish by leaving some of our tulip cards. As I say, this is a really good set to have. If you want quick and easy cards, then this could be the set for you, because it's got the matching punch, the whole thing together, stamp set and the punch is £30 and 50p, so it makes it hopefully affordable, and you can get lots of cards out of those. Get well, sympathy, birthday, Mother's Day, friendship, you name it, you could do a card with that. Thanks so much for joining me. I will sign off now and I look forward to hopefully seeing you again tomorrow, Tuesday at 2 o'clock for my update. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.